I'm the math specialist for a region of schools, and I often get asked by schools to come in and do vertical alignment meetings with multiple grade levels. A lot of times, if you're not careful, these meetings can turn into a gripe session or a blame session where high school teachers are saying things like, "You didn't teach that in elementary," or "My students come not knowing this." When I was asked by a school to come in and work with their 4th through 12th grade teachers, I wanted to make sure we had a productive discussion and was thinking about a way to do that. I chose a high school standard, APR 6, and a part of that standard says to take problems such as x plus 4 over x plus 3 and divide those by inspection. I chose that particular standard because when I first read the standard, it was an aha moment for me. I had always done problems like that using long division with polynomials, and that's not an efficient way to do it. All you have to do is take the x plus 4 and decompose it into x plus 3 plus 1, and then it easily simplifies to 1 plus 1 over x plus 3. So I chose this standard because the high school teachers would likely have an aha moment, a few of them, and also because it easily connects to math at lower grades. So I posed 2 questions to the teachers in relation to this standard. What content at the grade you teach most directly connects to this high school standard? And what problems or tasks could you pose to students at your grade level that would better prepare them to do this standard once those students reach high school? I gave the teachers learning progressions from the Arizona website. The 4th and 5th grade teachers used the number and operations fraction learning progressions. The 6th through 8th grade teachers used the expressions and equations learning progression, and the high school teachers looked at the algebra learning progression. And they were to read these progressions considering those questions and think about how these ideas connect together. Out of that, every grade level was able to share connections to the high school standard of mathematics at their grade level. One example is the 8th grade teachers realized that if we're looking at different ways to solve or simplify expressions or equations, that will connect to students being better able to see different ways to work problems such as the division problem in high school. So these teachers said, we're going to make sure that when we're solving equations, we ask students to consider more than just one way of solving equations. The 5th grade teachers realized that the standard that asked students to change improper fractions to mixed numbers by decomposing numbers, such as 14/8 is 8/8 plus 5/8, so that would be 1 5/8, directly connects to the standard because it's the same mathematics. They're decomposing numbers and then simplifying it. So the discussion that came out of this was really good. The next question I asked was going back up. So I asked the upper level teachers to consider what they heard from the lower grade teachers and decide, is there some things you heard that's taught at a lower grade that you could use as you're introducing these upper grade standards? And the Algebra 2 teachers, one thing they really connected to was the idea of improper fractions. One teacher even suggested, I may make my bell ringer simplifying an improper fraction and talk about how to do that by decomposition before teaching this standard. So the conversation that came out of this was really rich and really deep. Teachers were able to see relationships and make connections among ideas. I believe also having the conversation this way help teachers focus on the math practices and ideas such as composing and decomposing that relate almost all of mathematics together, rather than simply focusing on the content. I think it is important to have conversations about the content, and more conversations need to happen. But sometimes these are harder conversations. I believe starting with this conversation, going from a high school standard down, and then thinking about it back up the grade levels helps set a culture of cooperation and understanding that makes the future conversations much easier.